Farcaster. It is Monday, October 16th. I'm like, what day is it? 2023. And we are here bringing you 21 minutes of Farcaster news and, maybe some other news from around the uh the the Web3 averse. I'm still trying to make sure we are live, but yep, we are. Okay. So GM, we are full on permissionless. We've been here we're getting on almost a week. So that's kind of the big news right now, is that we are seeing, not a huge spike, really. Like it's been kind of quiet. But one of the things Dan asked was checking in post permissionless. What's going well? What's not going well? And if you were in charge, what would you be doing differently? So let's start there. What would you do differently? Anything, or
I'm
things going well?
I'm glad I'm not in charge.
Yeah, same,
I'm
same.
glad
What?
not to be in charge. It feels pretty chill to me. Just
Yeah,
seeing some new people. I'm not seeing
no major
I was gonna
spam.
say
No,
egregious
like,
amounts of spam. I'm not
yeah,
really seeing much spam at all. I'm not really seeing images I
same.
don't want to be seeing. Um, I am some squatting accounts. I think we're seeing
Yep,
people mess around with F names and grabbing, company names and brands.
did see a little
But
bit of
aside
that.
from that,
Yep,
um, one Vitalik imposter and
just one
one that I've
metallic
seen. There's
imposter.
there's probably more, but it's been pretty smooth.
I think so too. I really haven't seen any major issues, almost like too quiet. But I also think social media overall is distracted by bigger issues right now.
Hmm.
And so I think there is a little bit of a less attention being paid to sort of, lesser important things. But we think it's important. And I think, yeah, so far so good. No major spamming. GM Chris co-created, see you down there. Um, yeah, so far so good. I did think it was really interesting, and this brings me to my next thing, is that Flink was the big like winner here, like where more people signed up for Flink than Warpcast. And I thought that was fascinating. Um
Did more. So do you know that for a fact? And do you have, or is it?
have
It was the most of the alternative of the other
mm,
apps.
it okay, the thing I'm looking at is Farcaster onboarding by app. And on that particular day, 4 days
Flink had
ago,
more.
they had more. Yeah, they had
I'm
more.
so happy.
Yeah, it was so crazy, right? That was the weirdest thing. So they had more signups. And then they did just release two new features, videos and cast threads. So you can embed a video on Flink and it'll show up in Warpcast as a link. And then you can also create threads. So a series of casts as well. So a couple new features, but um, it's kind of weird because it tells you to go that desktop is a better experience, and I actually think it embeds better on mobile on Flink. So for the video embeds, but try it out. If you've
So
been dying for
you've been
video,
using
there you
Flink?
go. I've just tried it a couple times just to see what the difference was. So when I saw this like sign up, I'm like, what's the difference? But I am comfortable with Warpcast. So I slide back to my regulars, I slide back to the place where I'm comfortable, but I do like to try out the different interfaces just to see, maybe I'm missing something. I want to, try it out, especially when I see, ooh, video. Let me check that
Hmm.
out. But we still got some ways to go here. So I think that I think I'll be sticking with Warpcast. How about you? Have you tried other alternatives, and are there any that you really like?
I've not tried alternatives recently.
Okay.
So probably 6 months ago, anything that was out there I was trying. Is Flink, it's funny because in this world, you don't get the official, here are the apps and this is, right? You just see
Yeah.
them kind of pop up in your feed. And it takes like, when do you notice that everyone seems to be talking about Flink today? What is
Right.
it? It's still in test flight as a mobile app, I think.
Think so. It might be.
Hmm.
It might still be a test flight. Yeah.
So my personal, just based on my own bandwidth, I've kind of decided it's like, we all, there's so much FOMO too, when it's like,
Yeah,
oh, is everyone moving to Flink? When I see something still on test flight, I take a breather and say, okay, maybe I don't need to go try. I don't need to be the first 10
try
people to try
everything.
it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think there's sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's good to try things like FarQuest is another one. And FarQuest, like I don't think of that as like an alternative, but it really is. So that was another one, and I completed my influencer quest. I didn't realize that. So it let me claim an influencer little thing or whatever. So it's kind of like that to me is another way for people to onboard, and it can help them actually walk through the process. So I can definitely
Hmm.
understand that one as an option for somebody who's brand new. And I think it's good to have these alternatives for folks who are, wanting a different front end experience, especially. Like I've heard a lot of people say, I want this to look more like Reddit. So, that's giving you some alternatives and things like that for, those who want it. But I kind of like Warpcast the way it is, so I'm good. So I'm sticking with it, but we'll keep trying the new things just to see. Maybe you never know. You never know. The video thing might get me. It just might be the thing that gets me. Um,
And I am conflicted just because I do, I call, as a good citizen of the Farcaster protocol and
right.
ecosystem, we want to support alternative clients. We want to support builders. I want to try everything and give feedback and encourage
Absolutely.
multiple, everyone building. But I also have to protect my own time and bandwidth. And as we
I
grow,
know.
there's going to be more and more people trying things. So I have to recognize it doesn't have to necessarily be me.
So yeah, and it's funny because Nouns started talking about doing a Nouns client that would sit on top of Farcaster, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna have me one more thing I'm gonna have to check. Like, can you guys just stay here? Because then I don't have to like check one more thing. So I had that same
Um,
kind of thought.
can you talk a little bit about FarQuest?
Yeah, it's really just
Mm.
it's a gamified way to onboard. So you can earn different digital I don't want to call them badges because sometimes they're things. They can be NFTs or things like that. So there's a little cat and things like that that you can collect. So it's a game like way to, learn about Farcaster. I have not completed the school. There's like a FarQuest School now. And there's a version 2 of this, and I have not done that. So mine have been things I was doing, and then I got like you get this notification saying you've completed this quest or that quest, and you get something in your wallet. So on FarQuest. So it's really kind of cute. So it's really a different way to approach a front end rather than, thinking about features. It was thinking about education and onboarding, which I think was a good approach. I do see some comments in here. OpenCast is another one, but I'm getting used to Warpcast. And oh, he's in Android, so it is still in tough flight. Um, the iOS bias is real. That is true. That is really true. And yes, FarQuest is really a thing. Just looking through our comments here. It's kind of fun. So I definitely would say check it out. You probably have already earned a whole bunch of things because if you have certain number of followers, certain number, it's like really designed for somebody starting at zero to sort of earn some badges. So you'll probably start with a few things right off the bat. So kind of fun.
Cool.
Kind of a fun thing. Yeah, we'll have to like highlight all these different ones at different times, these different front ends as they come up. One other thing I want to jump into, like, here's the biggest news of the week, really. New Farcaster AMA series, and first up is Vitalik, and that is happening Wednesday. Wait a minute, Tuesday. I'm so confused.
Um,
I'm confused. That's Tuesday, October 17th at 5 p.m. Pacific, but it's also, I think it's UTC. I think the UTC time is throwing me off here. So it is
it's Wednesday for somebody,
it's Wednesday for
right? It's a
someone. It's Wednesday for some of you. It's Tuesday for us. And it is at 5 p.m. Pacific, so 2 p.m. Eastern. So here's a big question. Have you come up with any questions for Vitalik yet?
8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern? Oh, I went the wrong way. Sorry. 8 p.m. Eastern.
And yeah.
Sorry, wrong direction. Um, 8 p.m. Eastern. Questions for
No,
Vitalik? Anyone? Anyone? Who's got a good one? What should we ask Vitalik? What are you thinking?
I don't I don't
Yeah,
have mine.
I have to ask
I
something
never
about DAOs and network states or something along those lines. So I think the network state question would be a good one. What does he think about, what do you think about network states, and what does Farcaster count as one, is what I'd really love to dig into. Or is it developing into one? Could it be one? I guess is a better question. Um, yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
on network state
No,
or
on
or
like asking
AMA.
for the AMA
Oh,
for
I
Vitalik.
yeah. Um, I don't know. On the AMAs, I always love to ask not personal questions, but kind of the non-obvious ones. I mean, he's writing about Ethereum and kind of the obvious. So I just love to find the other sides of people. So
Hmm.
I don't know I don't know what question I would ask. And I also am excited to just pull up a coffee and read everybody else's questions.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
And
I was just
Vitalik
thinking,
really, like I was saying, more than any other like influencer of people who have kind of mass followings elsewhere, is really um, being engaging like
yeah,
himself, like earnestly and often. It seems like, and more in Farcaster. So that's very
definitely.
welcome.
Yeah, I definitely have seen that as well. Like if you want to actually, interact with him, your best bet is on Farcaster, honestly. Like in an organic manner, like where you're not, where you could just be having a conversation. And I do think that is what makes it a little bit special too, in general, that you do have these interactions with people that elsewhere you probably couldn't even, they wouldn't even see your replies because they're so overwhelmed. Um, you know what else I was thinking too? Like along your lines, to get to know him better, would be asking him about which channels he follows, which are his favorite
Oh,
channels, because that could lead to some interesting follow up.
and then we can shill him our favorite ones.
Yeah, exactly.
A
Come hang out
leading
with us.
question.
I just
Um,
meant like that would be a good way to figure out more about his interests. You know what I
that's a
mean?
great that's a great question that I'm going to ask him and
Go
take
ask
credit
it
for
right
it. And
now.
take
Go
credit for it.
go take credit for it. It was
Okay,
based on your idea.
I want to know Vitalik's. Now I want to know, I decided Vitalik's North Star.
Ooh,
So instead of kind of asking in the short term
great
where his
question.
energy and focus is on, what's his North Star?
That's a great question.
Maybe for both himself personally and Ethereum.
Ooh, that's great. I love that. That's an excellent question. Write that down. Don't forget. Giving you credit. Provenance right now. You heard it. It was
Right.
recorded.
Don't need to
Both
write
of those are
it.
Adrian's. Awesome. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to jump on was a little bit about Outcasters. And Alex Grover said one of the best feelings on FC is getting an image featured on Outcasters. I don't know which one was his, but there were some really cool, really beautiful images that were in here today, including this amazing OG NFT, of course, but also some of the other drops that happened for Permissionless Day. There were some really nice ones. There was a great one by, is it Oxen? I think that one's Oxen, that I really loved. That was amazing. And there were some other photos in here, but there were some beautiful like images towards the end of the Outcasters that were, I don't know if one of these was Alex Grover's, but they were really beautiful. So I saw a few in here that were pretty amazing. So whoever these photographers are, amazing work is all I can say. So um, yeah, some incredible photos. And then of course, I think those are Sam's nails. I think her nails made it also into the Outcaster feed. So I just scrolled through those, which I thought was hilarious. So yeah. So, what were your thoughts on the this week's Outcasters? You're still in the top 10, but we had a new leader. We had a new head of the pack,
Who was it?
DeWoofy, beating out everybody at the top there
Not
now. Yeah.
uh, what?
What?
Doofy. I was like,
Oh
obviously after DWR. Like,
no, no,
obviously number one means number two.
no! I
I'm like,
meant number one.
whoa, Doofy.
How did that happen? Oh yeah,
Oh,
he was taking the
respect.
victory. He was taking a victory lap on that too.
Totally missed that. All
Yeah.
right,
Oh
I guess
no, more than
DWR was good.
DWR, more than Vitalik. I mean, more than a countless.
Okay, that's amazing. Um, I am obsessed with Outcasters. It's like, how many weekly emails do I get just consistently? It's
Right.
such a pleasure to get in my inbox. Um, the variety of like I just love the images and the variety, and to be able, like, there are some serious talented
Yeah. Right.
photographers.
Like big time.
Um, and I love the always the diversity. I'm going to be curating one of these coming up at
Oh,
some
fun.
point, and I gotta say, I'm nervous. Like, how can I represent? It's
Yeah.
like there's a lot of pressure to make that look good, but if you're not getting outcasters, like, highly endorse it. And I think it's a lot of effort, right? It's one of those things that reminds me what Dan says of, like, do things
Yeah.
that don't scale. And I know things like that, even going back, if you remember, this week in Farcaster
Yes.
was also an attempt. It's people are doing these things. It's a lot of, like, just labor and effort, but it's nice and special. So thank you
So
for doing it.
that's funny that you mentioned the This Week in Farcaster part too. So I was scrolling back to that part too, and I clicked on Jack's "What is a pivotal moment that changed the trajectory of your life?" And it was really interesting. That was a really interesting thread going back a year, um, to read what people wrote in there, and I thought that was fascinating. So I really liked that. I love that This Week in, and then clicking on some of those and checking out what people
Oh,
said is really
so
really
you're
cool.
referring to, right, this week last year, which
Last
is
year,
part of
sorry,
Outcasters.
yes.
I was referring to TWIF, which was a purple funded newsletter
Oh, oops.
recap that was sunset because it was like a lot of work and hard to measure the results. Um, I know we only have a few more minutes, but
Yes.
I'm confused
Okay.
because when I click on the this week last year, it opens up in Searchcaster.
Mine opens
And
up in
then,
Searchcaster.
but when I open in Searchcaster, I can't.
So it shows me all the replies to that message when I'm in Searchcaster.
Oh, it
Yeah.
does
So
now.
yeah. So
Okay.
it
I
was
was
really
trying to open up
interesting.
the thread
Yeah.
in. Okay.
Yeah. It was really interesting,
Let's,
and it was a really interesting way to get to know some people.
all right,
So
let's
I
edit.
found that.
Let's edit that out when I couldn't
Yeah,
figure
we're
out
gonna
how
we're gonna we're gonna fix it in
Searchcaster.
post. We didn't really do that, but okay. But we'll pretend we'll fix it in post. But it was really, yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. So it's a nice feature of Outcasters is when you click on those things that they're showing you from a year ago, you can actually see like the replies and stuff like that. So I found that really fun. Um, I have to check in our on our chat here. I think Outcasters only scales with guest or community curators. Yeah, probably. That's probably a good way to go. Accountless must have been away. Yes, I believe Accountless must have been on vacation or something. Because that was kind of funny that yeah, DeWoofy kind of swooped in there. And he's taken some victory laps. Um, I did want to just share one other like just fun cast from Cameron that I just thought was hilarious. And it was basically him being awoken by his cat. GM, me, asleep, cat. The great famine continues. It has been eons since we have last had any sustenance, and it appears that no respite is on the horizon. We endure the pain and suffering of our bleak existence because we have no choice. Nothing can ever ameliorate our misery. Chomps my elbow. Um, so I now understand why he is the channel lead for the cats channel. It makes sense now. It really does. Somebody suggested that his cat should write a book. I would agree. This cat has a great handle on vocabulary and should definitely write a book. Um, so that is it for me. What anything else that we should chat about before we call it a day?
Um, we could talk all day. I've given up on being able to feel like I have like a wrap on everything that's happening in the ecosystem.
It's
But
impossible.
um, I've been loving the permissionless vibes all weekend, and I like starting Monday morning at GM Farcaster.
Yes.
I've
And
noticed you've not been drinking your
I
coffee.
have been. It's
I
right
don't
here, but I
know.
wasn't drinking a
Okay,
lot. Hmm. So soon
cheers.
we'll have some new mugs. I'm telling you, I'm working on it.
And
I'm
shout
working
out
on mugs and
Yash.
hats.
Shout. We've got. I see
Yash,
Yash Burrow.
Yash,
Who?
GM Yash.
Yeah. Good to see you here.
Good to see you. Yeah, we love. Oh, it's YB. YB. Yeah, Yash.
Hmm.
He usually goes by YB on
Mm,
Farcaster. And recently joined Purple and Builder DAO. So
nice.
YB, welcome to the DAOness. We're glad you're here. And welcome to GM Farcaster. And that's it for us. That is it. 21 minutes goes by really fast. We will be back on Wednesday with more fun for you all. So have a fabulous Monday, and we'll be looking for your casts and get ready to ask Vitalik some fun questions. So GM Farcaster, everybody. Bye-bye.